What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now today we're going to be talking about another free agent the Detroit Lions might potentially be looking at to sign. However, today it is not a defensive lineman. It's not a guy that's going to be primarily a pass rusher for us and help boost our pass rush. But we're actually going to be looking at a linebacker today, a guy that can cover much better than what we currently have on the roster, can kind of do a lot of different things, and I think if we bring him in, could really help, boost this linebacking core and add another playmaker, which our linebacking core was severely lacking last season. Now that player is Mychal Kendricks, the former Philadelphia Eagle and Seattle Seahawks linebacker. Now, before we do get into talking about Mychal Kendricks, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying the content, consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes 2 seconds every day to make mine, and I would be very, very appreciative to everybody that chooses to do so. But with that being said, let's get into talking about whether or not the Detroit Lions should consider giving Mychal Kendricks an opportunity in Detroit to help boost this linebacking core. As I mentioned, the Detroit Lions linebacking core was pretty weak last year, and we have a lot of guys now, but we don't have a lot of stars and not a lot of guys that can make a ton of plays. I have confidence in Jamie Collins and Jahlani Tavai. Jamie Collins, we just signed to a big deal. He was a huge playmaker last season for the New England Patriots and forced a lot of turnovers and did a lot of drives. And Jahlani Tavai last year, as a second-round pick out of Hawaii, showed a lot of really good things in his rookie season, and I expect to take a huge step forward with that veteran leadership in Jamie Collins and just having more experience in the NFL now as well. However, even with those two pretty good linebackers right now that we have in Detroit, we have a lot of question marks. Guys like Jared Davis, Reggie Ragland, Elijah Lee, Christian Jones, guys that have played in the NFL but aren't necessarily stars, aren't necessarily guys that I would classify as playmakers. I think Jared Davis is going to have a very good season this year, but he is still unproven, and obviously we don't know that. So I think it might be a good idea for the Detroit Lions to look at outside linebackers, guys that, other linebackers that, we could bring in and are playmakers and can just add that big play element to our linebacking core to help boost one of the, weaker parts of our team right now. Now, Mychal Kendricks is currently a 29-year-old linebacker. He was a former second-round draft pick as he was selected 46th overall in the 2012 NFL Draft by the Philadelphia Eagles. Last season, he played in 14 games for the Seattle Seahawks, totaling 71 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 4 passes defended, and 1 interception. He played in 649 snaps for the Seattle Seahawks defense last year, which was 61% of the total snaps. However, just like Jabal Sheard last year, missing those 2 games really hurt him, as in the games that he played, he played in 80% of the snaps multiple times, played in 70% multiple times, and only had a few games where he played in less than 50% of the defensive snaps. So he was playing a lot of snaps for the Seattle Seahawks, and that number kind of drops because he missed 2 games, but he was playing in 80% of the snaps in multiple games and really didn't miss a whole lot of time off the field. Now that we know what Mychal Kendricks kind of did in the past, what can he bring to Detroit? What kind of things that I see while watching Mychal Kendricks tape, do I think that he could bring to Detroit and add to this linebacking core? The first thing is, he's gonna bring veteran leadership. He's never been an All-Pro, he's never been a Pro Bowler, but he has won a Super Bowl. He won Super Bowl 52 with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he has that veteran leadership. He can come in and lead these guys on the defense. He's an 8-year NFL veteran, so he's been here for a very, very long time. He's been in the NFL for a very, very long time. Has played in big games, has won big games, and similar to guys like Jamie Collins and other veteran linebackers that Matt Patricia has tried to bring in this offseason. All these guys have veteran leadership and have won the Super Bowl, have won big games, and have been NFL champions before, so they know what it takes and they can teach these young guys what to do. And if we do get into a situation like that, we're gonna have confidence that the lights aren't gonna get too bright for these guys, because they've been there before, they know what to do, and they're going to help. And I think he can bring veteran leadership and veteran experience to this linebacking core that is fairly young, with guys like Jared Davis and Jahlani Tavai looking to be the future of the team. Jared Davis is only going into his 5th year, and Jahlani Tavai is only going into his 2nd. So, we have young linebackers, and I think he can bring a lot of veteran leadership to this team. He is a very good coverage linebacker. I don't care what the stats say. The advanced stats say he gives up, a lot of passing completion. He gives up a very good quarterback rate, but he is a very solid coverage linebacker, and he is much, much better than what Christian Jones is right now. He plays in the same position as Christian Jones. He plays that outside linebacker, and he is much, much better than Christian Jones right now. Like, if we were to get Mychal Kendricks, it would be a huge upgrade, and we could finally get rid of Christian Jones, who I know I and several other Lions fans are not a fan of Christian Jones. We don't really like him. He's just not that good of a football player, and getting a guy like Mychal Kendricks to replace him could be very, very good. But he's a good coverage linebacker. Like, he understands his responsibilities, he understands what he needs to do in coverage, and he does not he does not get beaten coverage a ton, even though, linebackers are kind of tough to look at completion percentage, because if you throw a thing right in front of the linebacker, technically they gave up the completion, but, if their job is to keep you in front of them and give up short completions, then the completion percentage is going to look bad, but he's still technically doing what he's supposed to do. And that's really what I saw. He was doing his job exactly how the Seattle Seahawks told him to do it. So the stats for coverage might not look great, but, he was a good coverage linebacker last year. He played very, very well for the Seattle Seahawks, and, the stats kind of lie in this situation. He was doing exactly what the Seahawks wanted him to do and did it very, very well. Mychal Kendricks can do a lot of different things, and he kind of reminds me of Jamie Collins in this sense. I'm not saying he's as good as Jamie Collins. I'm not saying that, he's going to be a superstar or anything in Detroit, or I'm not even saying he's as good as Jamie Collins, but he can do a lot of things. He got sacks, he got tackles for loss, he forced a fumble, he got an interception, he had 4 passes defended last year. I mean, he did a lot of different things. He had 71 total tackles. Like, he can rush the passer, he can cover, he can blitz, he can do anything you want him to do. And just like we talked about with Jabal Sheard yesterday, Matt Patricia loves guys that can be versatile. He loves guys that he can move around, inside, outside linebacker, edge rusher, blitzer. He loves these guys that can move around and do a lot of different things, because then he can disguise things better. He can mix up coverages. He can do all these different things without having to take you off the field and showing his hand early to the opposing offense. So that versatility that Mychal Kendricks has, because he can rush the passer, he can cover, he can do anything that you need him to do. Not quite as good as Jamie Collins, but just like Jamie Collins, he can do anything that you need him to do on the defense. That is very important and holds a lot of weight when you're talking to Matt Patricia about potentially joining his defense. So I think that's something the Detroit Lions could really, really like about Mychal Kendricks, and maybe want to bring him in for that reason. And then the last thing I want to say is I love this guy's hustle. I know when you're in the NFL, you're supposed to play hard on every single play because you're making millions of dollars, but this guy is always around the football. Like, even if he gives up a completion, he's right there getting the tackle. Even if, there are several plays where they throw the complete other side, and by time the Seattle Seahawks are getting this man to the ground, Mychal Kendricks is right there ready to make a tackle just in case something happens. Like, he's always sprinting right to the ball. Like, he never gives up on a play, and that's something I love about him, and that's something that I think that Matt Patricia and a lot of coaches like about him, is his hustle is just amazing. Like, he's always getting to the football. He's always around the ball carrier, even if it's not on the same side of the field. Like, as I said, they throw the complete opposite side, and by the time they actually get the tackle, Mychal Kendricks is right there to clean it up just in case something happens. So that's something I love. That I think is my favorite part about Mychal Kendricks, is just like his hustle and his mental attitude, his determination, and just his willingness to not give up on a play and get to the ball carrier on every single play and make sure they get to the ground, is just something I love about Mychal Kendricks, and is a big reason that I think the Detroit Lions should bring him in. And then he is not going to be very expensive, right? He's an older linebacker. He's obviously still a free agent. He's not going to be super expensive, and the Detroit Lions have a lot of cap space, just like every other free agent we're talking about. They're not going to be super expensive, and they're kind of older, so we don't have to give him a huge deal, and we're still going to have a lot of money just in case we want to bring him back. Now, why would the Detroit Lions not want to bring in Mychal Kendricks? Because there is quite a big reason, and there's two that I found that, could really make it so the Lions don't even really want him. And the first one is that he is in a little bit of legal trouble. Unfortunately, he committed felony inside trading and, could be facing a little bit of jail time. However, the other person that was involved in this with him got 3 years probation. So it is possible that Mychal Kendricks doesn't actually miss any time on the field and could still be playing football for a team in 2020. However, just with that legal trouble, that's probably going to scare a couple teams off, and the Detroit Lions don't like to bring in a lot of guys that, do bad things off the field. They don't like to bring in a lot of people that have been charged for crimes. They don't like to bring in, the bad boys, I guess, like Kareem Hunt, who, got in legal trouble. They didn't even look at him. Like, they don't like to bring in guys that get in trouble off the field. It's just not what they do, and that's a reason that I think the Detroit Lions will not sign him. The other thing is that he misses tackles from time to time. I believe he had a 21.1 missed tackle percentage last year, which seems very high. As I said, he made 71 tackles and missed 19 tackles last season, so he still makes enough tackles. Like, he still tackles pretty well, but he does miss tackles from time to time, and that missed tackle percentage goes up, which we know Matt Patricia does not like guys that can't tackle. He doesn't like guys that just he doesn't like guys that go for big hits. He likes guys to wrap up and tackle and get them on the ground for sure, and he just likes clean football. And occasionally Mychal Kendricks gets kind of sloppy in his tackling form, and ends up trying to make a play and misses the tackle completely. So those are the really two big things that I saw that maybe is gonna persuade the Lions not to look at Mychal Kendricks. But if he's playing on the field, like, no matter if he's missing tackles here and there, he's in a little bit of legal trouble, but that didn't affect him last year. He still played in, as many games as he could last season, so I don't think it's going to be a huge problem, but I think those are the reasons the Detroit Lions probably won't sign this guy. Would I sign him? I absolutely would. I think Mychal Kendricks could bring a lot of really good things to this defense. As I said, he can rush the passer, he can cover, he can blitz. Like, he can do anything you need him to do. He's a very good linebacker in the NFL. He's going to bring veteran leadership. He's going to, replace Christian Jones, who is the worst linebacker on the team right now, and I will stand by that. I will stand by that. He is the worst linebacker on the team right now, so bringing in a guy like Mychal Kendricks to replace him, a star in the NFL, a guy that's been here for a long time, that's made plays in the NFL for a very long time, bringing him in to replace the worst linebacker on the roster, it's not going to make the position worse. It's going to be a huge upgrade at the position. So, with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think we should bring in Mychal Kendricks even with some of the legal trouble and some of his tackling issues? Do you think we should to help bolster this linebacking core? Personally, I think we do. I think the positives outweigh the negatives by a lot. I think he can bring a lot more to Detroit, and I think the risk reward, the risk is high, but the reward is much, much higher, because if you get a Mychal Kendricks like he played last season, or if you get a healthy Mychal Kendricks for the entire year, you're going to get a very solid linebacker, a very good linebacker for your football team, and replacing a guy like Chris Jones is never going to hurt your football team. So, with that being said, let me know in the comments below. Would you sign Mychal Kendricks to a deal 1 or 2 years and, bring him in to help bolster this linebacking core? Or would you wait, maybe go after somebody different, or just save money like Bob Quinn seems to be doing right now? Let me know that down in the comments below. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. If you do enjoy the content, consider liking the videos and subscribing to the YouTube channel. It takes 2 seconds already to make mine. It helps push the channel out, bring new people in. I would be very, very appreciative. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see all of you in the video, whenever I see you. There will not be a video tomorrow because I will not be here tomorrow, so unfortunately there will be nothing tomorrow, but I will see you in a few days when I get back, and we will get right back on this train talking about free agents and guys maybe the Detroit Lions might want to bring in, or just more Detroit Lions content. So thank you all so very much for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.